We think these sanctions are biting.
John Bolton was the third national security advisor appointed by President Trump since taking office, and he's the third to resign after much speculation of imminent firing. Bolton brought to the White House decades of experience in foreign policy and a hawkish disposition that had never wavered. He served as ambassador to the United Nations under George W. Bush from 2005 to 2006 and used that position to continue to justify the U.S. invasion of Iraq that he had relentlessly advocated a few years before.
Madam President.
He returned to the UN alongside President Trump as National Security Advisor during the General Assembly session last year, and once again made his presence felt.
We've imposed very stringent sanctions on Iran. More are coming. And what we expect from Iran is massive changes in their behavior.
He asserted national security control of the U.S. mission at the UN, effectively downgrading the role played by Ambassador Nikki Haley, who resigned within months of his appointment.
What many diplomats say is that it's very hard to get clear decisions out of the US mission to the UN at present, and that is probably because Bolton and other members of the administration are fighting over what policy lines to take.
Mr. Secretary, it's so good to see you.
While the administration appeared united in its America First policy, some differences began to emerge, particularly with regard to North Korea.
Chairman Kim asked for this meeting. President Trump agreed.
Where Bolton adopted a take-it-or-leave-it attitude in negotiations, leading to North Korean complaints that he was undermining the policy of dialogue advocated by both President Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
The Iranian regime has systematically pursued a policy of hostility toward the United States.
Then the apparent moment of real division, as he'd done in years past, a national security advisor began to press for active regime change in Iran, characterizing the scheduled deployment of a U.S. fleet to the region as, in his words, a clear and unmistakable message to the Iranian regime. This at odds with a White House policy in which the focus was more on exerting economic pressure through sanctions. After weeks of discussion, it was confirmed that additional troops would be sent to the region, but numbering hundreds rather than the tens of thousands that Bolton was believed to be pressing for. President Trump denied there was friction within his cabinet.
I think it's fake news, okay? Now, would I do that? Absolutely. But we have not planned for that. Hopefully, we're not going to have to plan for that. And if we did that, we'd send a hell of a lot more troops than that.
The final straw, perhaps a sardonic comment by a principal advisor to the Iranian president who wrote in a tweet, "At real Donald Trump, you wanted a better deal with Iran. Looks like you're going to get a war instead. That's what happens when you listen to the moustache. Good luck in 2020. John Bolton is now on his way out, his moustache intact, his dream of regime change shattered. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.